over at Real America's Voice. Real America's Voice? The voice of the Americas, but the real one, not the bullshit one. Thank you very much. We've got Anna Paulina Luna, the Florida 13th District witch. That's what people say. They say she's a witch and that she is slutting around and doing all the things. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I am telling you it again. And then, of course, this is Shemane Nugent, Shemane Nugent, and Turd Nugget, and she was sitting in there having a conversation with this lady. This is her show, not his show. It's her show. But he was like, "Who's the chick with the lip filler?" And he just had to barge in. That bring you up to, does that bring you up to speed? Let's go.
What are your thoughts on that? We really do have to drain the swamp, and it starts with people like you and Representative Don.
Oh, shit. You're trying to get rid of her already? She just showed up. We got to drain the swamp, starting with you. I mean...
Can President Trump do it again?
Well, I take issue with the word again. You're presuming he did it in the first place. The swamp was not drained, if you'll notice.
Yeah, 100%.
Totally, 100%. 100,000, you know, 1,000%. 13,000%, 25.
We saw in national polling that President Trump had the American people, Democrats specifically, known that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. They would never have voted for him.
No. We've heard this one a bunch. No. 17% of people would not, if they'd heard about the Hunter Biden laptop, they would have voted for Donald Trump or not at all. If they'd have known he smokes in the bathtub, we would have lost 70% of Democrats. We would have gained 25% of, they would have, 20% of Republican men would have voted for him just for the hooker thing. It would have evened out.
Again, that stat saying a third of Democrats are not going to be voting for Biden. I mean, look.
No. Try again.
There obviously was an issue with secure elections, and there are instances. And
well, sure. I mean, not with the actual election itself, but like the security at the Capitol, mainly because Trump took the part where he said, let's walk down to the Capitol and I'll walk down there with you, out of the speech so that he could send people up there without giving them warning.
That is exactly why you have certain states. I just met with actually the Secretary of Elections for the state of West Virginia. And so that's why in Florida, we locked him down. West Virginia, there's some other states that are doing that as well.
You're meeting the Republican representative for Florida's 13th district is meeting with West Virginia election officials. By the way, more than likely, the Republicans are going to take West Virginia again out of habit as well. You don't really think there's any hope that you guys are actually going to convince anybody who didn't vote for Trump to stay on board, much less jump ship?
But obviously transparency, and then obviously people registering as poll workers, and then also to getting involved at the local grassroots level so that we can ensure that not only are we registering people to vote, but that fraudulent.
I have to say, grassroots is a very funny phrase because grassroots are fairly shallow. I mean, at the root level, I think it's good. The grassroots sounds like you're about to get mowed.
Instances don't occur. I think that that's huge. I think that the social media was huge. And I think the fact that the polling nationally, even from a generic Republican ballot versus Democrat, is showing that there's a 4% lead across the nation. So I think President Trump's going to win. That's kind of just what my gut is going to
Nope.
tell me.
That's what your gut is going to tell you. So you have who tipped you off? Your spleen?
There's a lot of people in Washington that don't want him to win, but that's exactly
right. Mainly Republicans.
exactly why he's the guy that we need.
Hey, I have a surprise for you. I don't think you've ever met my husband, have you?
Careful. She may have.
I think I saw him in passing once, but nice to see you. How are you?
Yeah, in passing. Is that what happened? You were passing? Were you? You son of a bitch.
Actually, I have my husband. Edie, come here. Come say hi to them.
Oh, there we
I
go.
have my husband here too. My
Well,
husband's
nice
a
to
huge
meet you,
fan,
Anna.
so that's why I
God
wanted
bless
to
you.
say
You're
hi.
doing God's work.
What's up,
Truth,
guys?
life, and common sense. God bless you, baby.
Thank
Amen.
you. We're big
Well,
fans of
we
both
should
of you.
do this more often.
It's like a
Have
double
him
date.
fill in for us.
So uncomfortable.
I tell you
Well,
what, she stays busy up here. I cannot believe how busy these folks stay up here, especially the ones that are not part of the swamp.
How about our wives? Let's hear it for our wives.
I know, amen. I can't tell people I'm just the driver. I just watching her do it.
I just
It's adorable. Now, I think you should take one of Tucker's classes though, because you sound pretty beta, bro.
load her ammo. I just load her
Yeah.
magazine.
That's it.
That's pretty
Ew, look at his side look. That's code.
Keep
badass.
the bags full.
Herself, though, right? Anna probably does that herself. Well, Anna, you are absolutely doing God's work. We are so happy
Is she? I thought she was doing the work of the 13th District of Florida, but
to be
okay.
aligned, and I'm so grateful that you came on. What's on your plate next?
Yeah, what are you doing besides talking to the election supervisors in West Virginia?
So one of the biggest things that we're going to be working on next from a legislative perspective is I can't say too much because I will get in trouble with my
Yeah, she signed an NDA because it's part of the the DC universe.
legislative
So
director here. But we're going to be working on how to make our food nationally cleaner and healthier. And so if you follow me on social
nationally clean. We're gonna add chlorine to everything.
media on my personal accounts at Real Anna Paulina, I actually put out a lot
Oh, you're
about removing food dyes like yellow number 6, red 40, really things that are being added to our foods that are not good for us, and I would say that are basically poison.
See, I mean, it sounds like big government to me. I mean, who are you to tell corporations what they can put in the food if it makes it sell better? What? Oh my gosh! Thank you so much. Hold on, I just saw that blaze by. JD Christie, thank you so much for the super chat. That's amazing. 50 for your 50. For the 50K. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. Oh my gosh. Yes, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up too. That helps. And also share the show. Sharing helps. Sharing is caring. Here we go. I'm sorry. She was in the middle of creating a nanny state where the government tells us what we can and can't do.
So we're working on that, and then also too every single day. I mean, I sit on
Why don't you talk to Elizabeth Warren? She'll co-sponsor it. There's tons of Democrats who are on board with that, have been for a long time.
House Oversight and Natural Resources, and so not only are we conducting investigations into the Biden family, obviously it's been
Yes, and all their bullshit tree charity or something where they were like planting trees to fight cancer or something. We're going and checking every single tree. Did I hit 50K? Did we actually do it? Hold on one second. Hold on. Channel dashboard. Reload. Could it be? Reloaded. 50,002? What the? Look at that. Yay! 50,000. We hit 50K. I can't believe it. You guys, you hung out there. A tenfold increase from our former unbreakable ceiling, and when I had less than 5,000 when we started this show a couple years ago. Thank you guys so much, and long form too, because I don't really do short videos, and now I'm going to start because at 50K that was going to be the line for the next level of growth. So thank you guys so much. That's really awesome. I'm not leaving. I'm just saying it. All right, back to the show. Very excited. 50,002, and keep subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, do that because people unsubscribe or they get kicked off or Google does stuff or I get shadow banned and then it goes down. So there you go. Did my other light, what are you doing? Going out. Weird little light. Okay, here we go. This is what her business.
And no, now this is not a conspiracy theory, but Biden's family was taking money from the Communist Chinese Party. There are bank records of those transactions.
No,
That is literally from the Department of Treasury.
it's literally not.
So we'll be having hearings on that, but really just kind of stay up to date with what we're
You already have.
doing on my official accounts at Rep Luna. Lots of investigations, lots of fighting, but don't lose hope because there's a good.
Yeah, it's like I'm investigating like Yellow number 5, Mambo number 5, Chanel number 5, Fox 5 at 11 p.m. news. I'm investigating all of them.
group of us up here, and we're not going to let them win.
Well, I'm so excited for what you're doing, and please let me know if there's anything that we can do to help you with the food, because it's such an amazing thing to even think that they're putting in chemicals that are, I mean, they wouldn't allow them in any other countries, and now
No, a lot of these are in a lot of other countries.
with mRNA. Anna, have you heard about that? They want to put mRNA in our lettuce and in our...
What? mRNA in our lettuce? How could they? They're going to vaccinate our lettuce? Oh my God. They're going to change the genetic structure of our lettuce and make it into cabbage.
cattle and
Yeah.
the meat?
I mean, we have our own chickens, and I hate to get to that point, but I really just started paying attention to what they're doing to foods, GMOs, all of that. But
GMOs, really? Again, I guess this is horseshoe theory. Maybe there's common ground to be found. Although most of the GMO scares are bullshit, but testing foods when they modify them, not a bad idea.
then again, in addition to what they feed animals when they're mass produced on some of these farming operations, and you consume that, and it's really bad for you. So if
I did. You mean like when they feed cows to cows, like they did in England, and get bovine spongiform encephalitis?
you can, I'm a huge advocate for getting your own chickens and
Yes. Oh yes. Chickens.
homesteading when you can, whether it's raising your own vegetables, but
Chickens.
I mean, really from, I hear about it all the time from my colleagues from across the aisle, and they say, what about the underserved communities? And literally, I just heard someone the other
Yeah. The underserved communities of chickens.
day saying that Republicans were trying to cut the benefits for Black and brown people. And I'm thinking that is, one, not true, but also when you're
Well, they're not bringing you in on it.
looking at what SNAP EBT actually is able to purchase, it's this massively processed food, and a lot of those additives in that food are leading to higher risks of cardiovascular failure, obesity, diabetes, and they are impacting
Okay, so this is her lead into what would effectively be a junk food tax on SNAP and EBT.
underserved communities. So this is something that should be a bipartisan issue, and we'll see, because
Okay, that was music in the background. They were transitioning. They're trying to. The Nuge is playing her off.
bring heat on it.
Awesome. Well, God bless you, and let us know if we can help. Thank you again.
Wait, why does Ted? What happened to Ted's thumb? Was he cleaning his nose and it went off? Hold on.
Underserved communities. So this is something that should be a bipartisan issue, and we'll see, because we're going to bring the heat on it.
Yep, there it is. Something happened to Ted's thumb, and I guess they're just gonna leave it as a mystery. It was up his ass again, and apparently it got snagged.
Awesome. Well, God bless you, and let us know if we can help. Thank you again so much for joining us, both of you.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. It's wonderful, and they hang out, and there's so much wonderfulness, and it's wonderful. And the great thing about it is that as the Congresswoman for the 13th District in Florida, that all my colleagues calling me a witch, and then I go after things like GMOs and food colorings and that kind of stuff, which the Republicans traditionally are 100% for. It's funny that we could both share this kind of thing. I don't care. That's the state of current right wing. I don't even know what the fuck to call media. Do we call it media? Is it media at this point? Maybe Tucker was holding the fucking thing all together. Maybe that's what was happening. Jesus Christ. Because the level of boredom. Hi, everybody. There you go. Look at that. 50K. We hit 50K. Super excited. Thank you guys for making it happen. You lovely people. All right. Liberal Dan's got a show tonight. Excellent. Go check him out afterwards. He's on Twitch, I believe, as well. And then cold for me is what? 25 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Ted gave his thumb a hickey. Yeah. He was looking for his car keys again and failed. Is that an inference that folks on Snap just buy junk and food, kids and Snap are eating? Yes, that's exactly what that is, Erica. Is that half the time they're telling everybody that these folks are buying steak and lobster on it, and the other half of the time they're telling them that they're buying, Little Debbie snack cakes by the truckload and eating themselves into obesity. These are the two extremes of that conversation. Instead of people use SNAP and food assistance to try and get a sprinkling of enough food for their family, which makes their life tolerable when they're impoverished, as somebody who got the blue ticket at the school lunch line versus the white ticket at the school lunch line. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So thanks for the laughs. I can't take any credit. These people are, I don't know what's happening. All right. Now let's jump in and for the next little bit, Stephen K. Bannon. The K is for the other two Ks that are missing. And he interviews Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. God help us. By the way, this is going to be boring as fuck. And I'm totally going to bail out at the end of the show because none of us needs to, like, there are going to be no surprises.
My fellow.
Oh, wait, I've got to jump to the, hold on, this page first. Oh, and by the way, all this is about is selling his book. He needs the money so bad that he's agreeing to these things.
Americans, this is your all-time favorite president, Donald J. Trump. Over the last
Donald J. Trump, I love it. It's so good.
I've corresponded with some of the most incredible people, from presidents to kings and queens, and from Hollywood stars to business.
Jeffrey Epstein.
My new coffee table book, Letters to Trump, published by Winning Team Publishing, features
Winning Team Publishing. They dumped the 45books.com.
These never before seen letters.
These are such good letters and you've never seen them. And I'm basically having a fire sale of everything about me because I'm broke as fuck.
You're gonna love reading it. You're gonna
No, I'm not.
love having it. Get your
I have it. Look at the children. Oh my God, so exciting. I could almost feel like if we finish the book, Papa's going to let us eat.
copy today at 45books.com. I think you'll really, really love it.
We're here in historic Mar-a-Lago in the...
Historic Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. Right up there with the Bates Motel and the tower that Howard Hughes lived in.
library. I'm honored to be
In the library. Oh, okay. That's why I don't see any books.
joined by the 45th President of the United States and soon to be the 47th President of the United States. President Trump, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This book...
Thank you. So good. And hold on, I got to turn this up a touch. This book is so good, and you wouldn't sit with me unless I agreed to sell it.
I think for people that know and love you is what people have been waiting for. Because it shows you prior to you being president.
Yeah, the thing that people have been waiting for in regard to a book from you is a book you had nothing to do with writing. I think when people ask me which Trump book should I get, and I go, none of the ones he's had any involvement in writing because ass.
President. And you've got what I call the great and the good of the late 20th century and early 21st century. And it's everywhere. It's entertainment, it's media, it's sport.
Yeah, he's saying all these things, but look, Steve Bannon putting two sentences together. Huh?
Religious figures, and you've got,
none of the notes Jeffrey Epstein slipped to you. Why those didn't make the cut, or is that for the next version?
To you, your correspondent back, the great photography, but then the special is your commentary and observations.
Yeah, his commentary and observations, which are recorded into the binding of the book. So as you open it, it's like he's sitting there interfering with you looking at it.
How did you come up with the idea? Why did you want to do this?
How did you come up with the idea? Well, Don said, "We're broke, Dad. What else can we sell?" And I was like, "Your mom?" And they're like, "No, we already buried her at the golf course."
So a group of people got to see in my office. I have stacks and stacks of letters from really famous people.
Yes, you're a hoarder. We get it.
And they say very diverse, okay? Very diverse.
It's a diverse. That's a word that I normally hate.
Like actors and crazy people.
Boxers.
Probably, I shouldn't say this, probably mobsters. And, we had sort of everyone. Yeah, boxers. But we had...
Scumbags, pedophiles, shitty people like you, Steve. Lots of notes from you. Every time I turn around, there was another one on my desk.
Everybody.
Everybody.
And Richard Nixon and politicians.
Who was kind of all of those things.
Famous politicians and some really good ones and very...
Yeah, not him, but yeah.
Personal letters. And they saw this and they said, you got to be... And they started looking, and Sergio, who you just had on, is terrific.
Fantastic.
He is, so is. Sergio is great. Sergio Aragonis, everybody.
He started looking at these letters. He said, these letters are incredible. I had two women,
Who hasn't?
Norma, who passed away, but she was with me for many years, and she was a fantastic woman. And she worked with a young woman named Rona Graff. And between the two of them, they loved to save letters. And every
They saved them for him. His assistants filed these away.
letter was saved and preserved and beautiful.
They're so beautifully saved and preserved. And neither one of them, interestingly enough, as bad as I would treat them, wiped their ass with them as far as we know.
And wrapped up. And
Wrapped
all
up.
of a sudden, we saw these boxes full of letters. And
Like, okay, we could sell these. We can't sell the classified documents because they'll see.
Sergio and his staff, they went through them. They said, you're not going to believe some of these letters.
You're not going to believe some of these letters that you got addressed to you. Why not? You're not going to believe some of the letters that you got.
Like getting a letter from Rosie O'Donnell, who was in love. I don't want to say that in the true sense of the word love, but, you know, she really...
When you were a goofball, nobody gave a shit. When you were unimportant, people weren't aware with you of you partying with Jeffrey Epstein and other scumbags like Dershowitz.
They liked me a lot. Whoopi Goldberg.
No, these are acquaintances, by the way, in media who will write nice things in general until they find out otherwise.
Everybody, by the way, Alec Baldwin, I mean, it's all this kind of graciousness.
Yeah, they're gracious people. And then they go, oh, this guy's actually a fuckhead.
Attitude in class before. Well, not just running for office, because.
And no, not just running for office. It wasn't that you ran for office. Some of them were expecting it. It's what they found out about you when you did.
We got Cuomo, we'll talk to you about that. It's what you stood for when you ran for office.
Yeah.
No, I think it's probably the Access Hollywood tape and your, like, all the shit they found out about you, like barging into the dressing room of Miss Teen USA. Fucked up stuff like that.
That's what separated out. I want to go just to some of the I think some of the ones the best at the beginning.
Choice. Yeah, don't delve too far into it.
Talk to me. Phantom of the Opera just closed. Yeah. New York City is a very different place today. Do you agree?
Much different.
You were.
Yeah, now you can't be a psychopath with a fucked up face, wearing a mask, doing musical anymore. Those days are gone. Crime is everywhere. Most people look like that. Like,
there's a letter and a couple letters here from Andrew Lloyd Webber. Were you there opening night or close to opening night?
Opening night, yeah.
Opening night. Did you?
Yeah, I was there. Like, somebody else bought the tickets.
Did you know at the time? Tell me about that experience. Did you know that this was going to be a landmark production?
Well, no.
Of course I did. Yeah.
Nobody does. You know, Broadway is hit and miss. They say the worst investment you can make is a Broadway play because they always fail. But
so you're a good judge of quality.
when you hit, it's big. Okay, when you hit, it's almost bigger than hitting a big movie. In fact, some people say it's bigger.
Yeah, some people do. Some people don't. Some people say they're not interested. Oftentimes, I mean, the more categories you give them for their, level of interest in the question, even you'll find.
And I had a lot of respect for him. He lived in Trump Tower with Sarah Brightman. They fought like hell. This was not made in heaven. She always wanted the windows open, but it's an old glass building. You have to keep them closed.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, she always wanted the windows open, but the windows don't open.
Because the letters, your observation, she was an opera singer.
She was a singer, great
singer. She wanted it open to sing.
She wanted it for her voice.
Because it was dry in there and the building was shitty. And sorry, this is too loud. I'm going to bring it down a touch.
It's a very
fresh air.
Fresh air.
In New York? All right, I call bullshit.
She didn't want perfect air. She wanted fresh air, but
she didn't want perfect air. She wanted fresh air because she was, artists.
Fresh air from New York. So, she was happy. Fifth Avenue, the cars, everything.
But it's a glass tower.
It's an all glass tower. We have window washers that go up and they blast the hell out of the glass. And like
you're very particular about how the building's clean.
Oh yeah. I always keep things clean. I like cleanliness, right? So that's why I get sick when I look at New York and what's happened so badly. But So we have these beautiful.
Yeah, New York's never been dirty or nasty in its history or whatever. It's gone all downhill. Did you see those pictures of, like, you can't even see the hosts on Fox anymore. The pictures are just covered in grime.
Window washers, they go up mechanically and they just blast everything, but all the windows are closed. We say, please never have your window open, please, please. But she didn't care about that. She wanted it open for her voice. And
what a bitch. You know what I mean? What's wrong with her? Opera singer, married to Andrew Lloyd Webber, caring about her voice. It's disgusting. She should do what she's told.
This window washer goes up, and every time we'd pass their apartment, they'd have a window open, and they would just...
And they're hitting it with the high pressure.
Yeah, and she was not happy. This was... she'd be rehearsing, and she'd get wiped out. It got to a point, I don't even think they rebuilt or repainted, because she just insisted on it. She used to complain all the time. And you know, she was very nice, but she wanted to have outside air.
What an asshole.
And I said, why don't you move into a different building, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Like, why don't you... I don't even like your husband's stuff. Why are you here? I could sell this to a Chinese mafia guy, like, in a heartbeat.
We're a glass tower, a beautiful glass tower. But anyway, they were married, and she was a big star. She was the star of Phantom.
Yeah.
But no, it's just interesting, because I'm a big fan of Phantom of the Opera and others.
Did you know as soon as...
I love Phantom of the Opera. My Act 2, 2 Corinthians is my favorite
The first
song.
night you saw it, there was going to be something special, because you fell in love with this, particularly certain music.
So it's like politics, like anything. You never really know, but this thing was special. So he wrote me a letter, which I have in here, and it's, Dear Donald, essentially saying,
Essentially.
I'd love you. This is when people love me. I used to get invited to everything. I was invited to that.
And then they saw the video of you partying with Epstein after he was busted, and they were like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, fuck that guy.
I had a winter thing that she does at the museum.
The Metropolitan Museum, the Super Bowl of fashion.
Well, and in all fairness, this asshole would show up whether he was invited or not.
The day I ran for politics, I said, has the invitation...
The day I ran for politics. The day I ran for politics. What do I know? The best words.
Come in. Haven't seen any, sir. But I got the best table. I was the king of that thing. And then all of a sudden, you know, you go cold turkey, which is okay. And it's over politics. And, you know, all I want to do is make America great again. You know, when you think about it, make America great, America first. Why are people so opposed to that?
Because you weren't. Because your idea of greatness is off-putting and full of shit, that it was not true, and that you were actually, it was an attack on the very thing that makes America a great country, is that it's not ethnically, you know, monolithic society.
I don't even think they know why they're opposed. But anyway, so...
No, I think it's the whole grab him by the pussy thing and just being stupid and sucking up to Vladimir Putin and having a computer in your basement at Trump Tower contacting the ones in Russia and having Russian mobsters and human traffickers operating out of your building and shit like that.
I look at this beautiful letter I get from Andrew Lloyd Webber, who was big before Phantom, but nothing like Phantom. And he did Jesus Christ Superstar, which was another great one. He did a lot of great things. But he said...
He did. But, I mean, to me, he was just another tenant.
Because he lived in the building at Trump Tower, he knew me a little bit. And he said, I'd love to have you as my guest. I'm opening up a musical called The Phantom of the Opera. And
oh, my God. You almost could have told this part of the story at the beginning, and we wouldn't be as bored. No, it'd still be boring. You're right.
Oh, so let's...
And I was like, oh, okay. Whatever, Andy.
So I say on the letter, okay, I'll go. And anyway, we went. And it opens with the chandelier and this. You've been there, right?
Yes,
You've seen
yes,
it.
yes.
Do you agree? It's like...
First time I saw it shocks you when the chandelier drops.
No, but the whole thing was
the whole
great.
Magnificent.
It was a great, great musical. He said, but
so great.
I'm opening a musical called Phantom of the Opera. And I'm saying to myself, all right. Now, I get many letters like that. I still get letters like that, except it's a little hard when they make you put masks on and do this thing. I mean, you know, I think Broadway, you still have to, it's brutal. It's brutal. I mean, if you had a Broadway theater right now, it just is just...
Well, plus the city. What's happened to the city?
Plus what's happened to the...
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like New York right now looks like, well, not quite as bad as it was in the late 70s, because that was hell, or the early 90s. So probably like 86, more, with a little bit of 83 thrown in.
Look, it just closed after, what, 40 years? This letter is inviting you to open.
This letter is old.
Opening night. The reason I want to start with that, it just closed last week.
Yeah, no, it did.
Yeah, thanks for tying that in, Steve. It certainly wasn't because it was an interesting story.
It did. It was very sad.
Because of what's happened to the city.
I think
It was very sad. Yes, Phantom of the Opera closed after 40 years because the city is ass. As a matter of fact, most of the people in the city look like the Phantom of the Opera, so nobody understands the concept
I
anymore.
don't know why it closed beyond that, but I think it's, you know, you got to have a lot of things going right, and they get so politically correct. But it did close, and I would think it's very hard to open on Broadway, have anything on Broadway. But Phantom was one of the greatest of all. So
Good Lord.
I go in and I see this music. I said, this thing is unbelievable. It didn't take long because the music is so good. By the time we had intermission, it was like, I said, this thing is incredible.
And I don't even understand the story.
And by the end, you know, with the whole thing, with the gondolas and the candles and the whole thing coming out.
Yeah, the piano and the something, and then she's there, and then there's a guy, and it was fabulous, and something. I remember the program.
And the great music. And we play
There was great music. Yeah, sure.
a lot of that music. I mean, I go to places when we want background music. That's beautiful. It's great. Everybody likes it. But you go there, and it's opening night for one of the most.
When he does events, he's trying to say that he has them play the music from Phantom of the Opera as background music at his events. No, he does not.
Successful plays, musicals ever, I would say. Maybe the most, but certainly one of the most.
Thanks. Just nailing it. This is like Shithead and Ebert.
And it was sort of cool to see a letter where I'm opening a show on Broadway. It's a
You're not opening a show on Broadway. You were invited because you live in his fucking building, dummy. And the dude is trying to suck up to you a little bit so that your power washers don't shoot his wife in the face with a jet of water while she's warming up. The fuck?
musical. It's called Phantom of the Opera, and it's Andrew Lloyd Webber. And I said, okay, I'll go. And
This is so good. This story gets better the more he tells
you
it.
go, and you know, you think
And then you go there and you're like, why am I here?
that's a long time ago. You feel young. I still feel very young. And I watch other people. By the way, when they talk about Biden being old, he's not old. I have friends that are 85, 90, 93.
Yeah, he's going to be fine.
You look at Bernie Marcus, he's 100%, he's 94, 95.
Sharp as ever.
Biden's not old. That's not his problem. He's got other problems, but he doesn't have old problem.
He doesn't have old problem. He doesn't. When I ran for politics, and Biden doesn't have old problem.
But yeah, I think they like to say that for other reasons. You know, like to say
He's got a big problem now because you've given him a nickname.
well, I've
Yesterday was a-
changed.
yesterday
I
was a big
changed.
day.
I changed. I decided that
The whole retiring Hillary Cooker.
I decided that Hillary's cooked.
Letter.
They came. A lot of people came that maybe you're sort of saying, "Can you try and leave me out of that whole deal?" But it was a beautiful wedding. They were there. They couldn't have been nicer. We had.
Wait, hold on.
Letters in here.
They came. A lot of people came that maybe
Hold on.
liked him.
He had
I
a
was
real relationship
flattered.
with you.
They were at my wedding. They were at my wedding to Melania when we got married in Palm Beach. They came. A lot of people came.
Ooh, hold on.
I never felt the Crooked Hillary was a great name. I
Oh,
thought
the
it was
Clintons,
accurate,
maybe.
but it never flowed like some of the
You
other
have
names.
letters in here from Bill Clinton. You talk about Bill
do.
and Hillary
No, I
Clinton.
liked him.
He had
I
a
was
real
flattered.
relationship with you.
They were at my wedding. They were at my wedding to Melania when we got married in Palm Beach. They came. A lot of people came that maybe you're sort of saying, "Can you try and leave me out of that whole deal?" But it was a beautiful wedding. They were there. They couldn't have been nicer. We had a very good relationship. I used to play golf with Bill Clinton. I have a club, Westchester, in Westchester, that's fantastic.
There's a
Fairly-
Super good. It's great.
Great
Yeah.
photograph in this book.
Autumn. Great. Yeah, it's a great picture of them, golfing.
At Westchester with Bloomberg, Clinton, yourself.
The whole group.
For a round.
Well, Bloomberg loved me too until I ran. Bloomberg. called me and said, could you do me a favor? Could you take over this golf course that's been under construction for 28 years? It was a project
You got mob money,
in
right?
the Bronx.
Right.
I took it over. I got it done in 9 months. It was under construction.
Jesus Christ. He looks like another... Giuliani's there too. Like they're just like hanging out together. Like, hold on, I gotta scroll. I gotta move this down so you guys can see. Look at this shit. It's a douche nozzle gathering. Went golfing. They're all together for some sort of charity
For
golf thing.
29 years, and he was embarrassed by it. And I did a great job with it. And we opened it, Jack Nicklaus.
And it's a public links. People,
public course.
the MAGA deplorables, the average citizen could go play that course.
No, it is. It's in the Bronx.
Yeah, because they're big golfers.
I did it as sort of a favor to him. I said, all right, I'll do it. I said, fellas, look, you've been screwing the city for 29 years. It's time we get this thing built. You know, they were rough guys, too. These were guys that were, even you don't want to know them, okay? These were rough guys, but they were good. I said, let's get it done. Let's get it done. And I got it done in a year, built a beautiful clubhouse, everything top of the line. And then...
with other people's money. And it was already signed on to.
They never really appreciated it. By that time, Bloomberg was gone. But I did it because Bloomberg asked me to do it. I had a very good relationship with Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah, rich dickheads tend to hang out.
But then he went crazy. Something happened to him. And, you know, when he went away from his policy of guns, you know, what he was doing with the gun stuff, which basically was started by Rudy. Look, Rudy was the greatest mayor in the history of New York.
He means stop and frisk.
And the crimes, I mean, I don't know how
You were there. You were there when the city started
Oh, God, this is fucking dull.
to collapse.
I saw it all. I saw it.
You were there when the city started to collapse. I blame him too. Started to collapse. Jesus Christ. Hold on one second. Started to fucking collapse. Hold on. Yeah. In the 70s. Let's see. Hold on. Theater. This is hold on. Get back up here. I'm grabbing some footage. One second. Hold on. I want to show you something if I can find it. Let's see. 1970. Here you go. Hold on one second. This is some my footage. Okay, this is just some footage here. This is New York, and then there's people getting in. There's crowded stuff. They look. Oh, there's the buses with like tagged buses everywhere. She's gonna get a run in her hose. That lady. Talking to a cab driver about the crime in the city. Hold on one second. Let me find some. Where is it? Let's see. Where is it? Street Justice, the Bronx. All right, hold on. There you go. This is the Bronx. There you go. This is here you go. This is during the time that the son of Sam was killing people. That's New York in the 70s. You know, the heyday. Yeah, there you go. The Bronx. Good stuff. It's looking good. Fort Apache, the Bronx, where every cop has a mustache. So
collapse. I saw it come back. Rudy started.
I saw it collapse. I saw it come back and then collapse again.
Now it's collapsing again. Yeah, now it's at a level. And the one thing that's different, We had a very powerful police force that wasn't being utilized. Now, many of those great policemen and women have left and gone to Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah, and it's really awful because they, you know, when they tell people to go fuck themselves and they forget where they are, you know, and like, we don't do it that way around here.
Florida, many states, and they're leaving. And you need, and you have some great people, but they're looking to leave. They're not being treated with respect. In New York's...
Yeah, New York cops have always been respected heavily. They've never had to confront large mobs of people fighting back against them. I don't know what it must be brand new to them. It must be a shock.
And we love them, and I love them. You know, they endorsed me for president. They've never done that before. It was a big deal at the time. They endorsed me for president. And
it was the union, not the
day that we had when they did that, because it's never happened before. They didn't even know if they were allowed to do it, but it didn't matter to them. They gave me the most beautiful award. They had me Man of the Decade, a whole thing with the New York finest. They were never treated properly, and they were never allowed to do, meaning over the last 10 years, they were never allowed. De Blasio
out of the last 10 years
was a disaster as a mayor. They hated it. Remember when he was making a speech and the police all turned around with their back is facing De Blasio? He was so bad to the police. And
unlike you,
many of them have left. And
they didn't want to come to some of the funerals. Remember that? They had a big controversy about the...
No, De Blasio was so bad. It's not even thinkable how bad he was. And
yeah, I can't even think about it.
It started there, and it's just, you know...
Does that hit you especially?
Couldn't edit this? Maybe tighten it up a little?
Especially because you're from Queens, but you went to New York and made it to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Because your dad had business there?
What's happened to this great city that you were so much a part? The late 20th century, starting in the 80s, you were everywhere. And you can tell by this book. This is the power, by the way. Go to 45books.com, promo code WAR, you get free shipping.
There's a little timer in the corner. If I don't mention it, he leaves.
This is a must-have. A great Mother's Day gift, a great Father's Day gift. The quality of MAGA.
If you hate your mother and father.
Because here's one of the things about this about the book that's so incredible. And you've got Sean Connery, you've got Michael Douglas,
very rich, very good college, good golfing college, and he wanted to be a professional golfer. And his college, whatever it was, Duke or some college, but
Jesus Christ, I don't know who these people are.
They played Wake Forest, and he got to play. He was the #1 player in his team. He got to play Arnold Palmer, who was the #1 player in Wake Forest. And Mark McCormick was really good. He was better than a scratch player. That's very good. And he heard about Arnold Palmer, but, you know, he figured he's just the best player in that team, and, you know. So they played through 9 holes, and his friend called over in the fairway, Mark, how are you playing? He said, I cannot play better. I'm playing great. How are you doing? I'm 7 down. You know, he's 7 down after 9. He said, I can't beat this guy. And
such a good story. I feel like I was there. I laughed, I cried. It became a part of me.
He lost the match, you know, it was over after about 11 holes or something. And
something like that. It's so funny.
He comes back,
11 and 8 or whatever.
He realized that he's never going to be able to beat Arnold
I got to
Palmer.
get another line of work.
Right. No, he said, you know,
I'm never going to be able to beat this guy.
This isn't going to work out. He's longer. He's stronger. He putts better. He chips better. There's not a thing he doesn't do much better. He said, I could play this guy 100 times. I could never beat him. So now he realizes, you know, Arnold Palmer then went over and he won the U.S. Amateur, and then he became a pro, and right from the beginning. But, you know, he was...
And then he started mixing iced tea and lemonade. I get it. I know the story.
Guy, very powerful guy. Arnold Palmer's a great story because his father...
Oh, boy. Help me.
Worked at Latrobe. It's a golf course, a very...
oh, that's interesting.
You know, at the time, very sort of middle-of-the-rung golf course. And he was a...
I'm riveted.
He carried grass because he was a very powerful man.
Yeah, and grass is heavier than, say, even weeds.
They call him a sod carrier. Can you believe it?
To his face.
He carried sod on his shoulders because he...
and he was... you know, they've rednecks and dirt shoulders, and it was a battle between the two of them, and they would start dancing, and somebody pulled a knife, and it was all over.
So powerful.
He carried sod on his shoulders. He was so powerful and dirty. Did I mention dirty?
Arnold was a very powerful man. You know,
He did. He would. No, he couldn't carry sod, but yeah.
I mean, that's the way it
Forearms
is.
like
Arnold was like a blacksmith. His
Like a
arms were
blacksmith.
strong. He was.
He was a blacksmith. His father was a sod carrier, and it just was in the genetics. It was in his genes.
He was quite a man, and Arnold would practice with his father after the club was closed.
After carrying the dirt.
And they
Okay.
couldn't afford even a golf club, so they'd go in and use the members club in the evening. They'd take a members club, and Arnold became a great golfer.
It's a great story. So I'm fucking. I was going to take a nap later, but I feel like I'm going to be staring at the ceiling, reliving every brisk, exciting, zesty moment.
And he won the U.S. Amateur. He turned pro. He immediately did well. He bought the club, and he made his father the manager. Isn't that great? You know, it's like, to me, it's like one of the great stories. Many
He made his father the manager. He put his dad to work. He could have just let his dad retire. His dad, it could have been the story that, his dad wanted to be the manager, so he let him take care of the place. But he just paid him because he loves him and is his dad, and he would hang out there all the time and tell stories. And nope, he made him carry sod.
great stories, but that's one of the great stories. But Arnold
It is one of the great stories. Of all the great stories, it's one of the greatest.
was a special guy. So Arnold was a very rich guy. So Mark McCormick lost badly, and he realized after that he could never be a pro, because they're just much better. That little elite group of few people, there's a big difference, believe me, I know very well. And so what happens is he said to Arnold, I think you're going to be a great star. I'd like to sign you because I've always wanted to do it. And he gave Arnold a piece of the agency, IMG. Arnold was a very rich guy. He owned a piece of the Golf Channel. Everyone wanted to do it. It was the early years. And
First guy really flying a jet, had his own jet.
he had his own jet. In fact, he asked me a question. He said to me, because I became very friendly with Arnold later on, when he was older. He said, I bought a beautiful jet, and they all want me to finance it. They give me all these financing options. Should I finance it? I said, well, do you need the money? No, I don't. I'd rather just pay cash. I said, you're doing it right. Pay cash. You don't have to listen to these geniuses. You don't need to borrow money. Because I'll never forget it. It was like,
It's great. Super exciting. And it worked out, right? He wasn't able to write off the payment on the planes, and it ended up costing him about $1 million more than it would have normally. Terrific advice.
I said, you need the money? No, I don't want to do that. They want me to finance the plane. I don't want to put debt on the plane. I said, Arnold, do what you're doing if you don't need the money. It was sort of funny. But Arnold
Sort of funny. It was almost a funny story. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
flew his own plane.
I'm shocked. This book is going to sell like fucking hotcakes. Can you imagine if this was the book on tape? Read by the author, just rambling.
But Arnold was a great guy. And
Was he a great guy? Was he rich, though? Did he have a plane? Did he put his dad to work? Did he
he
also...
became an owner of IMG. He was one of the original owners.
So you said.
I
Yeah,
think it was just Mark and Arnold. Arnold was
Yeah. So apparently he owns part of the Golf Channel, I hear.
the first client at IMG. IMG became the biggest agency. I mean, Mark McCormick did a phenomenal job. He was very good at that. He was better at that than he was at
Isn't
golf.
that the part of the agency that represented you? Was it?
They had,
Didn't they
and
buy?
I think they
merge
bought
and-
William Morris, and
Yes,
they did that. But that was, later. But the initial IMG was owned
Pretty
by
impressive.
Arnold Palmer and Mark McCormick. And
Oh my God! Who gives a fuck? Jesus Christ! This is insane. This is the craziest Trump video ever. I have never been this bored in my life. He's selling a book. This is supposed to entice you to get all excited about the book and buy it, which will never happen. Holy hell.
McCormick did a phenomenal job.
Did he do a phenomenal job? Was he part of the own IMG and he was friends with Arnold Palmer and he was like, I can never beat this guy? And they played and he chips better. And they're fucking...
He died during an operation.
Sorry, it's not funny that he died during an operation. It's just like what Trump's fixated on. I'm not going under the knife. That's how Mark McCormick died.
Actually,
He
did a fantastic job.
Actually, Arnold
Not in the operation, obviously.
passed away during the 2016 campaign. I remember you were gracious saying you wanted to attend the funeral, but you realized with the intensity of the campaign, it would bring a circus to this.
Oh, it was
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was
So
a
we
circus.
waved
Oh, I would
off.
have done that in 2 seconds, and I called
I wasn't invited, but
up the family, and because it was just great people. He was married to Winnie, totally in love with her. So it took him years to recover,
When she passed away.
and then she passed away, and then
it took him years to recover from the wedding? Or after she...
5 or 6 years later, he met another woman who was absolutely great, but Arnold was having a very hard time, and with that whole thing. He was
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What whole thing? His wife died 5 years earlier and he was still lonely. What the fuck?
He was a great gentleman and a great man, and many
But great. So you're saying, I'm getting the great gist.
respects.
Shit.
He did a,
Great thing?
then
No, I don't know.
Jack came along. Arnold did a great job, and then Jack came along, and Jack was able to beat Arnold. Jack was longer, and he was younger, and
Different
lots of
game.
things. And Jack went through.
Jack was longer and lots of things. And Arnold was mourning the death of his wife with his... And that whole thing.
A little hell because nobody wanted him to beat Arnold. Arnold was Arnold, but
That's true. Arnold was Arnold. That's if you could say anything about him, that's
Jack
it.
was
Jack was Jack.
phenomenal, and he spoke with his clubs. He didn't speak like our friends in the world of politics. They only speak with their mouth, not with their brains, not with anything else. But Jack spoke with his clubs. He was phenomenal, and Jack said,
This is painful.
another one, a Gary player. You meet great people, whether it's golf or other sports, but
Can't.
A lot of those people are represented in the book.
In the book, did you realize at the time, because I'm going to talk about some of the politicians and did they have the right stuff? Did you realize at the time, because if you see the letters and you see the communication, there's graciousness, gratitude, true friendship.
Yeah.
Even maybe sometimes you didn't know them that well, you'd done things for them. There's a line of demarcation. November 8th of 2016, the day you win, on that, what you stood for.
That's not true. As a matter of fact, his shitty statement on his first day of his campaign drove most people away. And then the Access Hollywood tape and all that other stuff started to come out. And everybody, even the people who kind of knew he knew Epstein and that kind of shit, were kind of like, well, that guy hooks up with everybody.
For his America.
But they were like, oh, no, you hung out with him after he was busted for child molestation. So, yeah, you were cool with
First
it.
in MAGA. Is that the line of demarcation in your life? Did many of the people that you...
It was the tip of the spear, the armor-piercing shell, the line of demarcation, the 69th parallel.
known and they respected you and you had relationships with, did that end because of your finally turning to politics?
Yeah, maybe earlier. I think it more went the announcement rather than
Yeah, right? When you were a racist fuck?
the day of the victory. That was a great victory.
The day of the victory.
That was a victory like nobody's ever seen before.
What are you talking about? It was very average.
Let's face
Greatest
it.
comeback
You
in
happened to
history.
be there in the room sitting right next to me, so you know it better than anybody. But was that the wildest
incredible.
evening ever?
Incredible.
And I think if
Glory
we
days.
do it again,
His little young girl's eyes,
I
glory
gotta tell the
days.
story about President Obama telling you about remember they keep telling him, hey, we got a firewall in North Carolina.
no, I could tell that story. It's a little long, but we have the
You could tell that story. It's a little long. Motherfucker, you just spent 20 minutes on 2 minutes of Andrew Lloyd Webber and 18 minutes of Arnold Palmer without ever mentioning iced tea and lemonade
firewall
like
in
an
North
asshole.
Carolina. We got this. We're going to win Florida. We're going to do this. It was actually about Bill Clinton, with Bill Clinton, and we'll tell that story, Phil. But I think it was one of the greatest. And I think if we win in 24, I think it's going to be.
When we,
Yeah, you look great. You look like you're ready. You look better than ever. You look spry and excited. You could tell by the look on his face, this is a man who's ready to win, especially with the squinchy right eye and the kind of droopy, overall sort of miserable demeanor every time the idea of being president again comes up. And then somebody goes, if we win again.
We win in 24.
Yeah,
the country
I hope
can't.
so.
The country can't take.
I don't think it can take it. No, I don't think. I don't think we're going to have a country.
You know this as a businessman.
Yeah,
correct?
I don't think. Well, even as a politician,
Which I guess I am.
they've weaponized. You would know this very well. They've weaponized the Justice Department. They've
Why would he know? You fucking pardoned him for ripping off your supporters, dum-dum.
weaponized the FBI.
Who?
They're doing things that a communist country would do, a Marxist country would do. It's a very.
Did
sad
you
thing.
ever think this country would get to that?
I never thought it would be that bad.
And you
Don't
dealt with
forget-
some tough.
I never thought I would ever deal with the consequences of my actions. I mean, what the fuck is the point of being a second generation rich kid New Yorker if you can't dodge every possible comeuppance in life?
I said, we will never have a socialist country. And I was right. We skipped that station. We went right into Marxism or communism.
Explain them the difference, if you would, please. Yeah, we're all standing in line every fucking day for toilet paper.
What's going on is
What is going on?
sick.
It's sick.
And what they do is they're unbelievable at cheating on elections. With you, I don't have to worry about saying that because, you know, if you say that on Fox, they want to cut you out. They cheated on elections.
Well, that's because they have money to make, and they want to keep their network on the air, and they just lost $800 million because of that bullshit.
Had Rupert Murdoch backed his people, he wouldn't have had any liability.
Nope,
When he went out and said there was nothing wrong with this election,
there wasn't.
what a thing to say. I mean, if you just look last week with the FBI and what happened with the FBI and Twitter, or the FBI and Facebook, where they told them what to say.
They didn't tell him what to say. And you were running the country when this allegedly happened.
And they said, don't talk about the laptop. If you look at the intelligence.
They never said, don't talk about the laptop. They specifically never said that. Just to clarify.
Agents, how about that? The 51 intelligence agents talking about Hunter Biden and saying it was Russian disinformation. I always think, what do you think Putin is saying when every week they came up with another thing? Russia, Russia, Russia. They never blamed anything on China because they were all getting rich from China.
Well, Rudy bought the hard drive from Russians. I mean, obviously, there's a chance the hard drive itself could have been assembled in China, but that's basically
One
it.
way you can tell he's illegitimate is the lack of respect that they have for him throughout the world.
Boy,
he
they
goes to you went to.
Boy, they don't respect him at all. Like, did you see in Ireland when he came out? They played rock music instead of "Hail to the Chief," and he was like smiling. They were all these like grotesque, like everybody was clapping, and it's just embarrassing.
So we went to Saudi Arabia. I mean,
And you rubbed a glowing orb.
the military's out. The thing they go, he's in an SUV with a fist bump. The mullahs don't respect him. The KGB.
The mullahs don't respect him. I don't think they like him or feel that he's malleable. So why put up in the effort if he's not going to buy your bullshit?
in Moscow doesn't respect him.
Well, you know, the fist bump.
She, who's right here for the historic
Oh, he
summit,
was-
no respect for him.
Spent 3 days here, and we had we developed a great relationship. Now, once COVID
Yeah. I mean, you guys slept in the same bed the entire weekend.
came, it was like, you know, that was a step too far.
You think it was too much? Like I was willing to let them, like you could kill 20,000 Americans, but then at some point,
I mean, that cost the world millions of lives and about $60 trillion. So nobody can ever pay for that, the lives and $60 trillion. But they'll pay something. They'll pay something.
yeah, like a tip.
You know, I got.
Would you demand reparations from China in a second
some
term?
form? You can't. There's no such thing as $60 trillion. You could add 20 Chinas. Okay, you can't. But they cost the world.
The United States has a $24 trillion economy. And believe me, the land is worth that much. The idea, like he's just making shit up.
figured
Never
it
mind.
cost $60
I don't even know why I take it seriously. It's my fault.
trillion worldwide, and millions and millions of lives. What came out of the Wuhan lab? You remember? I was the first one to say. I said it came from the Wuhan lab. Everyone said, "What's the Wuhan lab?" And I
Yeah, that's what they
never
said.
veered from that. I never veered from
The last week of
anything.
January 2020, for the first time in American history, you stopped travel from China and also put them in quarantine. That's
right.
Remember,
After 40 other countries had already done
you
it.
had the huge fight.
That's right.
Fauci and the guys in the National Security Council.
They didn't
fought-
want to do that.
Didn't want to do it. Remember, they said it doesn't make any difference. Is there any doubt in your mind that, and when I get back to the book, was there any doubt in your mind, given the role you were on in 19, where
Well, by the way, we've covered this way back in the day, but this has been a bullshit story he's told, and Steve Bannon's told this story the same way. They didn't tell him it wouldn't work. That's all he wanted to do. They were saying, you have to do this and this and this and this and this. We've got to do a lot of serious things because this is fucked up. And he's like, I'll just close the airports and not let anybody fly in. And they were like, no, that won't cover it. And they're going to respond negatively and not let us get in there and develop a cure as fast as possible. That was their concern.
The economy was no inflation, blue collar,
no inflation,
workers, non-college graduates getting 10 and 11% pay increases, no inflation.
Most incredible.
Now, no, hold on. Nobody got 10 and 11% pay increases in 4 years.
What nobody gives you credit for, too, is
unless you got a raise to management.
Quantitative tightening.
Yeah.
You've got 3% growth. You had a tax thing, and Janet Yellen she's taken almost $1 trillion off the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Not quantitative easing, what Biden has done, which juices the system. You put another headwind in to make sure that there wasn't going to be asset inflation. In 19, is there any doubt in your mind whether they purposely released or inadvertently came from the lab that the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and Xi wanted to do to make sure that Donald Trump was not reelected president?
Well, there's always a little doubt. You can't just say definitely. A lot of people think that was true because I was charging them hundreds of billions.
Nobody ever got 10 cents.
Dollars in taxes and tariffs.
In a phase.
That's still true, though.
One deal.
Phase
not
one.
for what phase two. Remember the first deal?
There was no phase two, stupid.
You had the 7 things. They had the deal, and then they go back and say, upon further review, we can't do that.
Oh, he's right.
Yeah, it's almost like there wasn't a deal. What part of art of the deal is no deal, dummy?
Lighthizer deal.
They said, no, we can't. We were getting ready for a closing.
That would have saved the world's economy.
But I got a lot of it done later on.
Yes.
And actually the individual deals, like for instance, I got a trade deal done for the farmers and for the manufacturers.
He was just literally doing a payout to them because he thought he was going to get fucked in rural communities.
Like
that's why
he bought everybody off. He was trying to buy votes.
At a poll out of Iowa, we're doing so great. I gave the farmers $28 billion. Steve, I gave $28 billion. In fact, I said about a month
of taxpayer money
ago, they were saying about, will it be close in Iowa? And I said, it's not going to be close in Iowa. I gave the farmers.
Jesus Christ. Like, I paid these fuckers for their votes. They owe me.
So it's Iowa, Nebraska, the whole Farm Belt. I gave the farmers $28 billion.
Meanwhile, a lot of those farmers got fucking wiped out and had their farms bought out. And then the $28 billion that went in, some of the money went to the people who bought up these family farms. The two Brazilian brothers who aren't even fucking Americans who were buying up farms during this period were getting money.
Agriculture, Sonny Perdue, good guy. I said, Sonny, how much would, because what they did to,
oh my God, the same fucking story. I got to sign off because it's like I'm going to be here all goddamn night. Tomorrow, regular show, 3:00. Holy hell. Can we just enjoy for a second? Let's just try to end on a brighter note that when Trump came onto the scene riding down his golden escalator and riding on this like tidal wave of free press from Morning Joe to Morning Night, to night watch, late night with, I don't know, whoever. Anyways, being on all these, just basically all the free press you could stand, and then these big rallies and everything, and people were like, oh shit, this crazy guy's, getting 60,000 people in some cases into these things. Most of the time it's 20, 25. They're free events. Take that with a grain of salt, but still a big deal, in terms of political influence at a time when, somebody like Hillary Clinton is running. And then in his comeback run against Biden, not so much. A few of the return places did okay, but a lot of them were winding down to 12 and 10,000, 9,000. And it's the same people over and over again they were having to space them out because people were driving to each one because the same people were at every goddamn one in their RVs. And then now he's doing these it was 8,000, I think was the top out. And then now he's doing the Lee County Republican dinner, and he's doing this book flap with him. Holy shit. And then the next interview is going to be Mike Pillow sitting in front of his staircase or on the John talking into his phone. Am I connected? Can you hear me? It's getting so bad. He might be on my show And on that note, I love you guys. Thank you guys for getting me over the 50K hump. Let's see. Did we get, are we over that amount? Let's see. Taking the thing with the doobity-doo. Now. We go back to YouTube and then go back to my channel and then do the studio. And we are at 50,007. We got 5 more even then. Yay! So thank you guys so much. It's very exciting to clear that up and clear that mark. I can't speak and read at the same time when it's two divergent thoughts. It's not bright. Anyways, love you guys. I will see you tomorrow at the regular time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No morning show, but Philip will be joining us on Wednesday. Today was his birthday, so everybody wish Philip Ittner a happy birthday, and I will we'll do it in person. We'll sing to him on Wednesday when he's on the show. So take care of yourself, take care of somebody else, and I'm not taking my shirt off after this one. I'll save it up for 100K, maybe even pants. I don't know. It's just that